They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet, gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen, in Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Well, hello, Miss Farmer. When did you get here?
I smelt food cooking, so I came on up.
You know, we got kind of a really varied show today. We're going to have visitors, and we're going visiting.
That's right.
Now, the weather got really bad, so we're going to go on a little fishing trip down south. We went to Captain Barry and got some good fish. It's just astounding.
That was a fun trip.
Came back. I got to do some woods work. I've got to go in and figure out what trees are what. I got to take some trees down. We're gonna make some more pasture. I want to keep my good, mature hardwoods. I'm gonna get Rick Hill, an old buddy of mine. You've seen him on the show before. To come in here, he's really good. He's a naturalist. He's really good at tree identification. Then we're gonna actually fix some of the fish. We got two recipes. One of them is what to do with leftover fish. And then at the very end, the contest.
That's right.
For Name the Baby Lambs. We got two winners. We had so many, we had a winner and a runner-up because we had so many people participate. We're gonna end up with that. But first, let's do our tree identification. Now, if we got some trees on here you might have never seen before, we're gonna do the basics, just looking at the bark. So as you're out and about, you know, I like to be educated when I'm in the woods. When I see a bird, I wanna know what it is. If I see a plant. So here's some really easy ID stuff without leaves, just looking at the bark. And here's Rick Hill. All right, we're up on the hill with Rick Hill. How about that? What's going on, Rick?
Doesn't get any better.
I worked with you at the Department of Fish and Wildlife 122 years ago when we were young men.
Something like that.
You know what? Rick is the artist, the resident artist at the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Oh, I should say award-winning. Has done everything from carving fish, which we're going to talk about later because you've done some beautiful carvings. But almost every cover for the last 38 years you've done on Kentucky Afield magazine.
Well, I've had on and off artwork since, I hate to say this, since 1976.
How long born then?
But I've done all the covers for many years.
Well, you do amazing work. And you couldn't, with that eye for detail, not be a naturalist. Since you were yay high, you've been interested in the outdoors.
That's been my passion, right?
That has been your passion. So when you, with an artist's eye, I bet it's tough to even walk out in the woods without seeing this, that, and everything is identified. For instance, we're standing here talking about this chinkapin oak. First of all, to the untrained eye, how do you know that's a chinkapin oak?
Well, you can tell by the bark that this is a chinkapin, although the only other tree you really confuse this with in the woods is a white oak, because they both have this very light gray type bark. Sometimes these are a little tannish light color, but they have the little scaly look pretty much, and they get a little more fissured or larger scales as they get old, an old mature tree. But a chinkapin has acorns that wildlife dearly love. They're a small acorn, but the thing they really like about them is that they're very sweet. Even the Native Americans used to prize these because they were so good to eat. They reminded them of chestnuts, thus sort of why one of the reasons I think they have the name chinkapin oak is related to that. Limestone areas is where you find the most of those,
there's certainly limestone around here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is from a beginner's standpoint, you know, you don't have to have the leaf, but if you do, it's kind of an extra added bonus. I see one laying right there by your foot.
The chinkapin, this is a small one, but they kind of have the appearance of a chestnut leaf.
So in Kentucky, we have, what are the different kind of oaks that we have?
The northern red and the shumards and the chinkapins and white oaks are the ones you've seen the most. But I probably left something out.
Let's go find one of those while we're hot on the topic of oak.
Sure.
All right, now, if you've seen us cooking up here, doing some cowboy cooking, you've seen this monster tree behind us. Now, Rick, tell us about this tree.
Well, it's a shoe-marred oak, which is one of the red oaks. They have large acorns on them, very important to wildlife. And you'll see a lot of these in central Kentucky for sure. And it's a very long-lived tree, as is the chinkapin is even known to live longer for sure. It's been verified. And we have, there's some in Kentucky that are thought to be, and some that are verified that are over 400 years old.
Wow.
Another neat thing to point out is that some people don't know that red oaks, the red oak family, the acorns, like on the shoe-marred, take 2 years to fully develop. The second year is when they fall from the tree and the wildlife have a feast. The points on the end is very common in the red oak family, and the deep cuts and the large acorns. I think these are past their prime.
You know what? You know what's not past its prime? Is fishing in the Gulf. So I called Captain Barry, I said, man, is anything going on? He said, right now, snapper and sheep's head. Now, I'm fascinated by sheep's head. Nikki's grandfather used to go to Florida and used to catch them off the piers because they like to eat those little barnacles off the rocks. They eat oysters, any kind of little crab they can get their mouth around. They've got very interesting teeth. Their teeth, if you look at them from the front, when you open their mouth, they got little bottom teeth and little
like
square
a little
teeth.
smiling face with teeth, yeah.
And they can actually pick those barnacles off and crush those, and the back of the mouth's kind of like a drum.
Right. Amazing adaptation.
Amazing. But they're also amazingly delicious. They're hard to clean because they have really tough scales.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to some more tree identification, but you said you were hungry.
Of course.
We got to feed Rick.
You said something about fish.
So we're going to come back and do some more tree identification, but first, let's go out with Captain Barry Collier, find out where his great seafood comes from, catch a few fish to boot. We've got some right here. Rick, would you like a bite when we cook it up?
Absolutely.
I knew you
Count
would.
me in.
I
Count
knew
me in.
you would. And you know, I've talked about it on the show 1,000 times. It's important to me to know where my food comes from. It comes from right here.
That's right.
Is this an average day?
Every day.
This is the first time I've been fishing where I know I'm going to have to have my back adjusted. These things pull. You know, I just got done bass fishing in Florida, and I'll go back to Kentucky and start some bass fishing. But the fight these saltwater fish have is unreal.
They do, and every one of them pulls straight down, which puts all the weight on your back.
Let's talk about your job. You have, and a lot of people are going to say, man, he's got the job. But anytime you see something like this, I know how much work goes behind it. What's a typical day for Barry?
Well, right now we got a great crew. They usually get the boat down here and get it ready. I usually get here about 5, which is just before daylight. And we launch right at daylight and run out 20 miles. They cut all the bait. Once we get there, we all fish. And you know, our goal is to fill the boat up, and the boat holds 2,000 pounds. Now, there's a lot of restrictions on what we can and can't catch, and you know what time of year we can catch them and stuff like that.
Now let's talk about Dauphin Island. Now I'm fascinated by this little community. I thought I'd been everywhere, but I have not been to Dauphin Island. You grew up here. Tell us about, there's a fort, there's a Civil War fort.
It is. Battle of Mobile Bay took place right here between the two forts. Unfortunately, our side didn't last long. I don't think the fort was 100% complete. Didn't have many cannons. The Union fleet put us out in like a day or two. Fort Morgan held on for a little while. A few days later, and the old famous saying of "damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead" happened right off Fort Morgan, and there's a buoy still marks the ship where it sunk right there, Admiral Farragut on the Tecumseh.
You know what? Nice, sleepy little community. It's not loud, it's not rowdy. They got some good eating. Every restaurant we've tried is just delicious.
That's right. There's not many restaurants, no chain restaurants, no chain hotels. It's kind of like small town Kentucky, but with a beach.
Now, let's talk about what we caught earlier. Those weren't snappers.
No.
But they were pretty fun to catch.
They are, and they're just as good eating. We can keep as many of them as we
Now,
want.
what were those for those who don't know?
Sheep's head.
And you can catch those just about anywhere down the Gulf and around. And these, what is a state record's what, 13 pounds?
13 pounds.
Some of those he's been catching are close.
10 to 12. This time of year we catch a lot of them in the 10 to 12 pound range, but to jump over that, I don't know if they just don't get any bigger or what, but their heads start getting shaped funny, like they can't get any bigger.
Kind of like mine.
But mine, I got the funny head. I got a big head.
You know what? This has been so much fun, and we're going to go out and try to get one more before my back just breaks.
I'm ready.
You're killing me, man. Thanks so
We'll
much.
catch all you want.
All right,
yes, sir.
Because Rick Hill doesn't work on an empty stomach, he has demanded
Really?
that we take some of this fresh Gulf sheep's head, which has a sweet taste because it's been eating mollusks, soft crabs, hard crabs,
Right.
anything you can get his little teeth around.
I
he's
can't
eating.
wait to try it. I haven't had it in years.
Your grandfather used
Yeah,
to
he's-
love to catch these off the
That's all he
pier.
caught.
But around these rigs where the water's fairly deep and they're covered
Right.
with barnacles, and you can actually see them swimming and popping around in there, popping those with their teeth, trying to get them loose. But they have very sweet flesh. Now again, they're kind of hard to clean. They get those big old armor-like scales on them.
But we had berry. Very
But we had
tender.
Captain Berry.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna take this, a little salt and pepper on our flour, a little salt and pepper on our fish.
That's some nice white
lightly.
fish.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
Now we cut most of that red meat out, but that's where your strong taste comes from on any fish. You wanna get that red meat out. Now you talk about fresh fish.
You just cleaned those
We
yesterday.
just pulled these out of the water and came back. And we came back to a sunny day.
Yeah, we did.
But guess what? It's gonna get cold again. We're saying
Not
snow.
good. That's not good.
So very simply, we're gonna take these, we're gonna put them in our hot grease right over the fire. 2 to 3 minutes per side. Some of these are fairly thick. The little ones, the thin ones won't go that long. And people say, well, how do I get my fire hot enough? Well, it's just like inside. You just watch it, get your distance right from the fire to your skillet.
That smells
There's nothing
good.
like cooking outside. When they get nice and we can tell that they're about done, they're nice and flaky, we're gonna set them aside. Then we're gonna take our rosemary, fresh rosemary that we just pulled out of the atrium, some garlic, and some red wine vinegar. We're gonna pour that in there and let that simmer down a little bit. Perfect temperature. Pour that back over the fish and serve it.
Yeah. Sounds good
Now
to
we
me.
did this recipe a long time ago, but you can do this outside too. All right, Rick, you do the honors. You're first.
All right.
That should
Thank
be
you very much.
sufficiently cooled.
Excellent.
Does that give you the strength
That is
you need to move on to the next tree ID?
We can move on to the
See what
next
we gotta
group.
Oh,
do.
that's good fish.
See what we got to do to keep people on board? Now,
Well, that's great.
in a little while, after we get back, now we'll eat some of this, but we're going to intentionally leave some of this. A lot of people say, what do you do with leftover fish? Nobody wants to eat leftover fish.
Right.
You can put this in the refrigerator. We're going to share a little trick. You don't want to waste something like this. So say you have a bunch of people over and you cook a bunch of this stuff up
Got extra.
and you got a little bit extra. We're going to show you a quick middle of the day snack that's good for you. That's really good for you. Can't beat that.
That's good white fish, isn't it?
Tell us about this tree you're holding up there, Rick.
Well, this is you've got a lot of these on your place here, and it's one of my favorite trees, the white oak. Very important to wildlife, very important for a lot of things. One of the more common species in central Kentucky. They can attain a very large size, and they're very long-lived trees. And again, they have an excellent food source for wildlife.
Deer love them. Turkeys love them.
Absolutely, that's another one of the milder acorns. Yep. That's an actual northern oak, and you can always tell the northern oak, northern red oak, from the shoe marks. They're very, very similar. The red oak has a very stripy look, especially going up the tree. If you look, it's kind of like shiny plates, little stripes. It has a striped appearance sometimes.
All right, now Rick, I've got one of these here. I've got one over in the lower field where the cows are, and I got one up by the sheep. In the spring, when it blooms, it's the most heavenly smell. And I don't know what it is, but it produces some kind of fruit. What is that?
It's a black haw.
Black haw.
Haw, H-A-W. It's a really cool understory tree that's common around here. And you've got, I think you said several here on your farm. You see it's got this real distinct, like little checkered bark. And it has clusters of flowers in the spring. They're white, and they smell great. And then they fruit through the summer. They start turning from green to red, and then I see wildlife really coming to them and eating them late in the fall when they're just about black, bluish black, and then they start to shrivel, and that's when the wildlife, the birds, really seem to like them.
You just saved that tree's life.
I saved it.
I probably would have cut that down, Rick.
Yeah, I'd save all these for sure.
Black Haw.
Black Haw.
You know what? We have to go make one more recipe. Are you hungry?
I'm in.
But first of all, I want to thank you for coming out and helping me save this tree's life.
Anytime. I got a passion for trees, all of them.
We'll come back when the leaves are on.
Yeah, you've got a lot of other species of trees we could look at.
I've worked up another appetite.
All right. Well, let's go.
Let's go.
Do something about it.
Thank you very much.
All right.
You know the trees that were out in the field by the sheep and down there that's got the really sweet smell in the spring?
Yeah.
And we kind of
What is it?
wondered what they were? Black Haw.
Black Haw.
Really?
We want to keep those.
Why?
He saved its life. I was going to cut it down.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful smell.
They do smell good.
All right. Now, another thing with the beautiful smell is our leftover fish.
That's right.
Yes, it smells
I tried
wonderful.
not to eat it while you were
I
doing
know,
the
I know.
trees.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. But say you do have some leftover fish. We're going to try to be healthy here. I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds
Really?
that I seem to gain this winter. Man,
Okay.
it was a long, drawn-out winter, and it's not done yet.
That's right.
So if you want to get a little bit more healthy, the only thing really bad on that is a little bit of flour. Avocado,
Right.
very good for you. Now, when your mom used to make you tuna fish sandwiches, it was basically tuna fish, mayonnaise, or in my case, Miracle Whip,
Right.
and sweet pickles.
Exactly.
Now, Grandma Nikki, you might want to revisit this. She bought some dill pickles and turned them into the best sweet pickles ever. Every time we go up and she's got them out on a platter, we're using Grandma Nikki's here. My mouth is watering just thinking about
She
them.
made you 2 more she's bringing to you.
Thank
2 more
goodness,
buckets
because
of
we're
it.
about out. So I like sweet pickles, a little bit of sugar in here, but for the most part, instead of using all that heavy mayonnaise, we're just going to take an avocado. Show us what you're doing here.
All right, and I just cut it in half and pulled the seed out,
Pull the seed out.
and these just scoop right out nice.
So we're just going to take those out, mix that up along with our leftover fish.
fish?
Look how white. Oh, this.
Hey,
okay.
hey, I want some. And how about, can I
I'm
chop
just
my
gonna
pickles?
break that up. Yep.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. How many of these you want in there?
About like that, maybe a little bit more.
All right.
Mix that up. Oh, it smells heavenly. So you're on the run. You got stuff to do. You want a good snack. You got some leftover fish. Now you could use sweet relish or whatever, but Grandma's pickles are pretty
The
daggone
best,
good
they're
now.
the best.
Now, we're gonna basically take these. I'll hold it for you. We're just gonna fill that back up
Like a little boat?
like a little boat. Set that right
Thank
here. If you wanted to go low carb, you could use your little rice crackers.
These are great crackers.
And if you wanted to go really low carb,
You're being way too healthy.
look at here. Here's
All
what I've been
Fill it
doing.
up.
You make you a little wrap, bend that front end over. Look what you got.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Try that.
Thank
Healthy.
you very much.
I know you and your low
Yeah,
carb
I
stuff.
like green
That's
stuff.
how you stay so skinny. Take a bite of that and see what you think. Isn't that a nice,
Yeah, that's
easy
really
snack? You cut out the mayonnaise, and you know what? Or if you want to go the cracker route.
That's what I like.
Now, if you don't have any leftover fish, and you want to put tuna fish in this, boom, you get your packet out, dump it in or can or however you do that.
That's a great dip for a party. Just
It
to
is
have a
very good
dip.
for
I
party.
like that a
If
lot.
you wanted to put a little more onions in that to make it a little more guac-ish, you
That's
could even put,
good.
you know, with the fish, you got your protein in there, you could put a little tomato in there,
Yeah.
whatever.
And it's healthy, right?
It's really good. You know, it was time, finally, Mama Mia had her little dark twins.
Twins,
Beautiful.
adorable.
Little blazes on their heads,
Yeah.
just beautiful. And it was time to finally let them out. We keep them in for 3 days, but we did a contest on Facebook, and we said, name our little boys, and it was M&Ms. So let's go let them out, and then let's announce the winners. And by the way, we had so many people participate that we had to have a runner-up.
Yeah.
There were so many
You loved
good
all
ones.
the names.
They
You were laughing
great.
as you're reading them.
I was just astounded at the great names they came up with, but let's go visit them, turn them loose, and we'll announce the winners. You hear that noise in the background?
That guinea?
I wonder what guinea tastes like.
I don't know.
I think we're about to find out.
I think it's a good
Everybody
idea.
said, oh, you don't want to get a guinea, they make too much noise. Well, some do, and some are very vocal.
He's out of control, isn't
He's
he?
out of control.
Yeah.
We'll see how he tastes.
Okay.
Nah, we probably won't do that. But you know what we had? We had a contest on Facebook. they're so cute.
Yeah, they are.
And so many people responded with so many good answers. It was almost impossible to pick.
You had
It
your
really
favorite
was.
though, didn't you?
Yeah, but you know what? It came in, drum roll please, Big Scott Collard. When he said moon pie and moonshine, I'm
Made
like,
you laugh. You were laughing. You loved it.
Got it. So Big Scott Collard, you get a hat and an apron. He better let his wife wear the apron.
That's right. She gets
Now,
the
Scott,
apron.
you can have the hat and you can wear the apron, but you got to let her wear it too. You know what? We had so many good answers, we had to have a runner-up.
Okay.
Our runner-up is Angela Webb. She was one of the first ones out there, said Mercury and Mars.
That's cute too. That made you
That's
laugh.
hard to beat.
Yeah, that was cute.
Those were really good, and we had so many good ones. So, you know what? We really like the contest, and y'all do too, so we're going to keep doing this type stuff. And today is the day. We let these guys stay in here for typically about 3 days, so let them bond with their mother. Everybody knows who's who. They got their smells all lined up, and everybody's good. When you have a bunch of lambs bouncing around, especially if they're solid white, you know, they get confused. There's not going to be too much confusion here. So we're going to let these guys out. Let's see what their reaction. Everybody else is bouncing around. Let's see what happens when we let them out. Mama Mia wants some of that.
Milton's checking out the new babies.
That was an action-packed show.
And good food. Thank you very much.
Cooking right out
That
here
was
with the
good.
fire. And it's supposed to rain, maybe even snow. So
Really?
I don't like
So
that.
enjoy this last day.
Enjoy it. You know what? That rolled on mighty fast.
Yes, it did.
Bye. So you know what that means? It's time to talk about our Facebook page. We want you to be our Facebook friend. How do you do that?
You hit like.
That's it.
That's all you do. That's
Boom.
right.
Hit like.
Okay.
And you're on there. We talk about the food we've cooked over the weekend and take pictures, send it to us. We love to share information. Also, if you watched us today and you thought, I'd like to watch some more of this kind of stuff, where would you go?
You're asking me a lot of questions. I'd go to timfarmerscountrykitchen.com. I know the answer to that one.
Boy, these are
That's
hard
right.
questions
I know
too.
what they are. That's where I go.
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com. You go there?
I go there for all my recipes.
I go there on occasion when I forget how much stuff I
I'm
put.
on
We
there.
never measure.
Seriously, I'm on all the time.
When you're on there, click subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit that little red button, that means everything we do that comes out new, you can see that. You know what? That Gulf of Mexico, sheep, Rick, good food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about
Good times
good friends.
and really good eats.
We'll see you next week with a brand new Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're back.
Yay!
To order a cookbook, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com.